Hi, I'm Krishna and I'm a language lover. Welcome to part 2 of how to create a phonological system. If you want to know more about what a phonological system is, please watch the first video of the series that I posted a week ago, then you will get an introduction to it. This is the second video where I'm gonna show you an easy system that's a little bit bigger than the very easy system from last time. With its consonant inventory, its vowel inventory, the own phonotactical rules, and an example text. Let's start again with the consonant inventory. I chose 15 consonants for the easy system, which is still quite a small consonant inventory, but it's also quite realistic. There are some natural languages that actually have a consonant system that's pretty similar to this one. For example, ancient Latin has pretty much exactly those consonants. Spanish, as spoken especially in Latin America, has a very similar consonant system. The voiced stops are often a bit more fricative, but for the rest it's very similar. And then we also have a Tok Pisin, which is a Creole language spoken in Papua New Guinea, which also has a very similar consonant inventory. Let's start again with the labial sounds. These are the sounds that are made with your lips or with your teeth on your lips. We have the voiceless stop P, so I will say again the phoneme first followed by an A, then between two A's, and then at the end of a syllable that begins with an A. Pa, apa, up. Ba, aba, ab. That's the voiced counterpart. Fa, afa, af. And ma, ama, Let's come to the coronal sounds. We have the voiceless stop ta, ta, ata, at, da, ada, ad, sa, asa, as, na, ana, an. Then the lateral la, alla, al. Then we have the trill here. The normal trill would be ra, ara, ar. Indicated in brackets is a variant of it. Many languages have this, that one phoneme can either be presented by this phone or sometimes in different surroundings, or even by different dialects with a slightly different phoneme. In this case, the r sound, like in British English, in Albanian, in Armenian, and many other languages that have the r. Sometimes they also tend to have a r in certain surroundings. So that would be like ra, ara, ar. So both ra and ra would be the same phoneme, but slightly differently pronounced. Then we have ya, aya. Notice that the IPA symbol is a, as we call it in English, J, but within these symbols is a Y, because it will be written in everyday written language with a Y. So this is the representing letter in the written form of this language, as for example English does it too. Then we have the velar sounds: ka, aka, ak, ga, aga, ag, ha, aha, ah. Again, we have a variant, the ch. So it would be cha, acha, or ach, which are variants of the h sound. Many Slavic languages have this. Also Spanish, for example, doesn't really have a pure h, but more of a ch sound. And many people who have problems pronouncing the h often use a h like sound, but they represent the same phoneme, so they don't make a difference in certain words. Then we still have the wa, awa, au, with a version of a more dento labial approximant, awa, awa, aw. All these variants are actually quite common among human languages. That's also one reason I chose them. I think I forgot with the coronal approximant, I forgot the sample syllables. Let's still take them. So it's ya, aya, ay. Also a very common sound. It's actually a palatal approximant. I would like to add that all these phonemes here are, I would say, common to very common among human languages all around the world. So producing these phonemes for most people around the world wouldn't be too complicated. Some people from Eastern Asia might have some issues with the R sound, but usually you can learn it. There are some languages that don't have a F sound in Southeast Asia. Arabic doesn't have the P. Some languages don't have the G sound or H sound, but in general, most people, if they want to learn this consonant system, would have to learn maximally 2 or 3 phonemes that they haven't learned yet. Let's continue with the vowels. This is our vowel inventory. It's composed of 5 vowels, and I called it the classic system because it's really a very common vowel system. It shows up in languages all around the world, for example in the ancient Latin again, so that's why our Roman or Latin alphabet has exactly those 5 vowels. In Serbo-Croatian, which is a Slavic language, in Greek, in a very different language, Japanese, spoken in Japan, Tagalog, spoken on the Philippines, in Hawaiian, spoken in the middle of the Pacific, Swahili, which is an East African language, which has those 5 vowels, Hebrew, a Semitic language. So they really show up, these 5 vowels, all around the world. I will pronounce them to you. First a short and then a long version. I, e, a, o, u. Please note that all these vowels are clean or pure vowels, so there's no diphthong in there like in English O or A. No, they're really like one vowel quality, E and O. Now let's make syllables. How do the consonants and the vowels that we've just chosen make up syllables? I've chosen for 2 kinds of syllables. First the simple syllables, then the complex syllables. The simple syllable is composed of one of the 15 possible consonants, followed by one of the 5 possible vowels. Example syllables would be bi, te, hu, wa, no, sa. Simple syllables. Remember that this glottal fricative has 2 variants, so it could either be pronounced hu or hu. It would still be the same syllable. A complex syllable is composed by, again, a consonant, followed by any vowel, followed by F, which stands for final consonant. F in this case stands for one of those 7 and only those 7 consonants, which means a complex syllable is composed of a consonant, followed by a vowel, and a final consonant. These possible final consonants are P, T, and K, all voiceless stops, The S is the sibilant, N is the nasal, L is the lateral, and R is the trill or the rhotic. Possible syllables would be tan, kes, lur or lur, yep, wak, bot, nil. Now let's make words out of syllables. The final phonotactical rule here for a word is any number of syllables, but the last one must be a simple syllable, which means a word can have any length of syllables from one to several, and the first syllables can either be simple or complex, but the last one must be a simple syllable. So possible words in this language would be pa, tiska, so it has a complex and a simple vowel, simple syllable, lurwi, sato, kindo, yatela, ruspo, yenku, nekka. You see that even double consonants are possible in this case. Disso, another double consonant. Dilbanu, sigu, hakyo, nitaspo, santerna, miklosje, nastupakbi. So you can make longer or shorter words, and the last syllable always has to be a simple syllable. The other syllables can be either or. As I already said, this allows for long or double consonants spoken about twice as long as the single consonants. Let's add some pronunciation rules for flavor. Again, I've chosen two pronunciation rules that are quite common around the world. The first one is the assimilation of final stops. We've seen that there are, at the end of a syllable, you can have the p, t, or k, which are stops. When a voiceless stop comes before a voiced stop in the next syllable, the first stop becomes voiced. What does that mean? For example, if we have the word pakbi, the k here is voiceless, but the next syllable begins with a voiced stop, so this last voiceless stop becomes voiced. So pakbi becomes pagbi. Another example would be kitgo becomes kidgo. So those two consonants become more similar. Habdu would become habdu. The other rule is nasal assimilation. We've already seen that in the very easy system. So nasal n before g and k would become assimilated. So the n becomes an n, so it becomes closer to the velar stops. And the nasal before b or p, that's the bilabial b or p, becomes bilabial itself. N before b becomes mb, n before p becomes mp. So n before g or k, before g or k becomes assimilated to ng or nk, and n before b or p becomes assimilated to mb or mp. Examples would be sanpu becomes sampu, kinba becomes kimba, linka becomes linka, and pungita becomes pungita. Again, this is a very common rule among human languages. This is now a sample text of this easy system. Again, remember, it doesn't really have a meaning yet, but I gave it to give you an impression how such language and such words might sound in a natural language. First, you have the written version of the text, then the phonemic version of it, and the phonetic version. So in the phonemic, you just have the basic phonemes. In the phonetic, you have the actual pronunciation. I'm going to read the text twice, so you can always compare how it's pronounced and how it's written, or how it's broken down phonemically. Let's read it the first time. Matania usawe quintalo rapko salwani tipokko. Mebda lusirti sawampu nerge liswe tahano sirla magawi. Histogdo maldoniwere tankani falki. Yossi gandi masorra tilpa. Let me read it once more. Matania usawe quintalo rapko salwani tipokko. Mebda lusirti sawampu nergeliswe tahano sirla magawi. Histogdo maldo niwere tankani falki. Yossi gandi masorra tilpa. That's already the end of part 2 of my 4 parts of showing different difficulties of a phonological system and how it would sound in a language that has those systems. See you in the next video.